Okay, before we wrap up this feeding presentation part, we're going to end with an economical budget raw diet. First, if you're wondering why I've got all these palm trees all over the wall, it's because my girlfriend Tina is an artist, and when it was winter time we like to take a lot of pictures, and there was nothing to take pictures of because it was ugly in winter. So she created a wildlife presentation on our kitchen wall. So there's my explanation for that. With that out of the way, I'm going to get into an economical budget raw diet. It involves rice, which is a grain which really isn't what a dog's supposed to eat, but it's a filler. I'm not claiming this next raw diet is the best. It is not. But it's still better than kibble because it still involves raw chicken, eggs, and vitamins and such. So we will get into that as we wrap up the feeding element, and we will take it from there. Okay, this is the basic raw diet, or shall I say the low budget raw diet that I've given my dogs for a number of years when I had a lot more dogs. It is it's not a premium raw diet, but it is definitely a sustainable diet, and it's definitely good for your dogs. It consists of basically chicken. I've got a crock pot of rice. I've got a multivitamin, and I break the. You can get them at Walmart or Sam's Club. Just there. I use the mature multi. I've got some older dogs, and it has glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate in it, which is good for their joints. But they sell huge bottles of vitamins, very cheap. I just take. I've got 8 dogs. I take 4 tablets. I break them in half, and I set them up. And I add. Generally, the dog will leave it in the dish. If you just give it to them like that, they won't eat it. So I just take a little glop of lard like this, just common lard, shove the pill in there, and I stick it in the bowl, and they just eat the lard and eat the vitamin. And I also have in the sink hard-boiled eggs. Excuse me, soft-boiled eggs. That's my mistake. Soft-boiled eggs. I've got 8 dogs. I've got 8 eggs. Actually, I got 3 more because I'm fixing to eat a couple myself. But to make the food, I just take the glop of vitamin like you see, break the egg, I leave the shell on. You can see the goop is there. It still has the yolk, but the white has been cooked, as I mentioned previously. Okay. Now, when you feed the rice, you don't need to feed as much chicken. All the rice is filler. It's energy. And so I take about a cup of rice per dog, and I put it in there. And then I take a half a chicken breast, it's still frozen. Take a half a chicken breast and stick it in like that, and I'm done. It's basically just an egg, a multivitamin, some carbs to put weight on them, and some protein, and that's it. It's a basic diet. You can feed your dogs that for that less than you could Ol Roy. Costs about 55 cents a pound if you read my book. Just add another vitamin, add another chicken half. Oops. Add another cup of rice. You hear my dogs in the background grumbling, they hear it, and they know it's feeding time. Add another egg, and you're done with the next one. And I just set this on the table and preparing to bring to my dogs. I'm not going to do it with each and every one, but it's a basic diet. It's better than kibble. If you look at most of the premium kibbles have brown rice. If you really want to get your rice cheap, you can go to a restaurant supply company and get just straight white rice in huge bags, very, very cheap. I tend to get a smaller bag at Walmart. They have their own Great Value brand, and it's brown rice, and it costs about I don't know, $1.50, and it feeds 10 dogs. I mean, it winds up being about 10-15 cents per dog, which is nothing. But I make as many cups of rice as dogs I have. This whole bag makes 10 cups. I'm actually going to be feeding some of my dogs a little bit more just to break it down. So if you have 20 dogs, get 2 bags. 30 dogs, 3 bags. If you have 5 dogs, just use a half a bag one day and a half a bag the next day. You know, you just break it down based on the number of dogs you have. But this is a complete diet. No, it's not as primo as feeding raw whole animals, nor the premium raw diet I had just mentioned previously. But it's a fine basic maintenance diet. It certainly is better for them than kibble. They have raw meat, they have eggs, soft-boiled eggs, some carbs for energy. You've got your vitamin pills covered in case there are any trace vitamins that they're missing. Well, there they are right there. And really, if you look at bags of dog food, that's all they do. They have a couple of basic ingredients and 1,000 different vitamins listed. All they did is essentially add a vitamin pill, just not as directly as this, and then they cook it. So it's taking the quality out of it, as mentioned previously. But this is the basic raw diet. There's no reason to go on and on about it. It's simple as this. A couple of things here, and you're done. And so I'm going to finish off and feed the dogs. All right, moving on to the next part. Okay. With wrapping up the economical raw diet portion, you can see that if any trace minerals are missing, you just have a vitamin pill. You can do that in any of the diets. You can give your dog a little vitamin with feeding raw whole animals if you want. You can give them a little vitamin pill with the premium raw diet. I certainly would advise giving a vitamin pill with this economical budget raw diet that I just showed you, because, you know, who knows what's missing from this or that. You get these these little vitamins, and you don't have to worry about that. And guess what? That's all the kibble companies do. When you see all these vitamins listed at the end of the bag, you know what they did? They put some vitamins in the mix, but the difference is they cooked the bejesus out of it and ruined it and destroyed the vitamins. When you add a little vitamin to your meal, your dog's meal in the bowl, it gets the vitamins. It actually uses them. So I think the addition of a little vitamin pill, especially if you're not feeding one of the optimal raw diets like raw whole animals or the premium raw diet with all the vegetable mixes in there to cover the vitamin needs, that little vitamin costs you about ½ cent per dog. And it makes all the difference in the world. It gives you the peace of mind that, okay, if I'm missing any trace elements, there they are. So, that said, we're going to go into some other raw options that you might have besides the three that I've shown you: the raw whole animals from a premium distributor, the premium raw diet that you can get all the parts at Walmart or your local stores, and the economical budget diet that if you have a lot of dogs you can take care of them. So we'll go into some other raw options that you might have before we wrap up the presentation. Okay, thanks.